there's a lot of Tesla fans who say, you know what, enough with the big three, let them die. And I very strongly disagree with that. These companies built America. And I think having these auto companies is not just job security for millions of people, which it absolutely is, but it is also national security.
How do you think, Brian, does this pressure inside of this tank, I mean, maybe you can give a little overall summary of what Ford, for example, is dealing with right now, or GM. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, right? You have they still have to produce ICE cars. Many workers work on those ICE lines as well, but they know, okay, at some point this is going to be scrapped or what's happening. And I think then the union gets involved again, and it's going to pressurizes the situation overall. And I'm not saying I'm against unions in any sense, because in Germany it's very established system here, and it kind of works here. It's how you get feedback from the workers. It's very divided in every job category that you have and everything, and everybody has. It's very separated and very detailed in that sense that you could really, if you have complaints, you can really summarize them and bring it to the board, and then it's going to be looked at and everything. So that's good. But yeah, how do you see this pressure in the US? Is it good that they unionized actually? Is it a bad thing there, or yeah,
so they unionized 100 years ago because they had to. It's been very helpful to the workers, for sure, but overall, really to the survival of the company. The company couldn't build the middle class without the unions. And they've got to recognize that. At the same time, this strike is going after the wrong things in a few ways. I don't know how many of the demands are serious. They want 32 hours of work for 40 hours of pay, which is a 30% raise, because you're still going to work 40 hours. You're just going to get time and a half for all of Friday after having already been paid for Friday. So basically double time and a half for Friday, which is crazy. They want the traditional union pensions reinstated, where you get your full paycheck after you retire. And that's untenable. There are more than twice as many retired auto workers as there are auto workers in the union. So that means that they would be paying more than 3 paychecks for every worker. That's not reasonable. They can't do it. It's too much money. But what the union really wants is they want unions ready built into any new EV factory. And that's probably a deal breaker for Ford and GM and Stellantis, because that's a very big ask. You're wanting us to guarantee you something that normally the workers themselves should be voting on. And if you're going to unionize a plant like that, you may struggle to attract top talent because you can't pay them more. Some workers need to be paid more. So that's a little complicated.
To me, it really much sounds like Ford and GM is in total trouble now, and the pressure is on now. Because if you have to discuss and arrange every detail in a transitionatory phase where they have to shift the lines anyway, and I mean, the workers won't be happy if any change happens, actually, but that's how the reality is. We're going to switch over to EVs. That's the trajectory we have. And this is actually pretty tough for a company that is already established since 100 years.
It is. Yeah. Look, they could, with how much profit they made last year, they could double our wages and still make billions. And the problem with that is all that profit came from internal combustion engine cars, which will be gone soon. If what you asked for was give us a bonus based on that profit, I would support it. I think maybe even Ford and GM would support it. But when those cars are selling at a negative margin, I can't see the union saying, "Oh, okay, great. Well, then we just won't get I think they would be very upset because they were counting on that money. So you're asking for a raise based on a profit stream, a revenue stream that will be evaporating in the next 10 to 12 years. And that is, Ford knows that. All the executives know that. And I imagine the union must know that. But they have to push. They have to ask for the best. And the workers are in my opinion, 100% blameless in this. And I would say Ford and GM and Stellantis, not without blame. But they have offered, they have submitted offers, and all of them have just been rejected, just flat rejected. Not even going to, that's, a 21% raise. That's a no-go. That's not even, we're not even going to start. It's like, you got a counteroffer. If you're not going to give me a counteroffer, this isn't a negotiation.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, that sounds horrible. And yeah, comparing the successes of Tesla in that sense is crazy, because it's almost like the structure of Tesla is a modern one to like a very like the top of the line. I mean, with the stock compensation in a growing market where the competition for Tesla is actually the ICE industry on the whole, not other EV manufacturers. I mean, 20% of the whole car market sounds crazy and awesome. Is the union, their demands, is it too backwards? Because when the head of the union talks about, yeah, but the housing is very expensive there in Fremont and stuff like this, the reality is that the housing market was exploding for the last 5 years. It's just ridiculous and crazy. But is there the company is GM to blame here? That's the reality we are living in. We have to figure this out. I mean, if the factory would be in California, then they would have to pay them, like, I don't know, how much, $500K a year or something, that they can finance their home there.
Yeah. Well, we just wouldn't build it there. Well, great,
yeah.
But people need jobs wherever they are. There's a lot of Tesla fans who say, you know what, enough with the big three, let them die. And I very strongly disagree with that. These companies built America. And I think having these auto companies is not just job security for millions of people, which it absolutely is, but it is also national security. You need to have your own industries to not be dependent on others. These are big international conglomerates we're talking about who have led the world. And we joke that Mary led and it matters when she didn't and it doesn't. But that doesn't mean that the company itself is not valuable and the employees themselves are not valuable. Yeah. And a big reason I want to see the employees getting the stock, getting the ownership, being part of it, is because at Tesla, there was an employee who said, hey, you know what? If we are making batteries, why don't we make mega packs? And that expanded the business. That is part of the reason the stock is worth what it is today. And somebody said, if we're making all these, actuators and electric motors and manufacturing and the dojo compute, all this compute, I mean, we could make robots. Somebody said that. It didn't all come from Elon. It came from somewhere up and down the chain. And these are the parts of the business that are expanding the value of the company entirely. GM wants to get into stationary storage, or at least they'd said so. And if they're going to be a big EV builder, they can. Why can't they? Why not? Even if their product is not the best in the industry and not the cheapest in the industry, there are people who will buy it just so it matches their car. The workers have no incentive to bring those ideas forward, especially if it's going to mean more work for me. And I don't fault them for that. It's just the structure of the business.
Yeah. I mean, you've said that with the working hours. I mean, 36 working hours and getting paid 40 and stuff like this would be unthinkable at Tesla, I think, because, I mean, Tesla is attracting top-tier talent globally. We have to remember this. That means the pay and the conditions working at Tesla can't be so bad if everybody and their mom wants to work there. So this means, in my opinion, so it's very a popular employer, and in the rankings, almost from the universities and everything, the top actually that they want, SpaceX and Tesla is one of the top on the top of the charts there.
It's all about your expectations. Yeah. If you know it's going to be long hours and hard work and you accept that, then you knew going in.